So we were talking a little while ago this morning with Walter Schroth and Rob Heinrich of the Indiana Area School District about school district financing, how it is done in Pennsylvania. We focused that discussion specifically on property taxes and maybe trying to find a better way to go about it. But there are other issues having to do with school district financing in Pennsylvania. And so Rob returns with us this morning. And joining him, Dr. Matt Curci, the Executive Director of Arin Intermediate Unit 28, and Dr. Richard Lucas, the Superintendent of Schools at the United School District. Gentlemen, good morning to you all.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you with us here today. Our visit is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. You can visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Rob, we had that earlier discussion with you, and it's true that property tax is just one part of the formula, a formula that a whole bunch of people across Pennsylvania say is broken, and it doesn't add up, I guess would be a better way to put it. When we talk about school district financing, charter schools, property taxes, expenses, all of those different things, they get all thrown into a pot, and you guys, with incomplete information, have to come up with a budget and pay for a very quickly coming school year. That's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's a complex problem that all superintendents and school boards across the state have to deal with every single year, and it seems to become more the norm where the budget is late from the state. So we are taking educated guesses and hoping, crossing our fingers. I think if you had, of the 500 superintendents across the Commonwealth, 480 of them would probably be here saying the same thing, that we're struggling to make ends meet. And that's a result of that complex problem that involves property taxes, state funding, federal funding, cyber school costs, unfunded mandates, and all of the other things that go into this. Kind of a mess.
When you are under a mandate, we have to have a budget passed and in place by a certain time. Richard Lucas, you're dealing with it at United just as everybody else is.
Yes.
There are so many things that are uncertain. Charter school funding, that's a bill that just lands on your desk one day.
Yeah, and that can change change during the school year as you go. So whether it be someone exercising school choice into a cyber charter school, that could affect that you weren't prepared for that possibly. So you always have to buffer in your budget a little bit for that. The other one that really is when you have someone move into your district and they were already participating in an outside charter school, and you could potentially inherit a large cost that you had no way of anticipating. I think of multi-kid family.
Yeah.
They come in and they're already enrolled in from somewhere else geographically. They come in now that's part of your finances.
That kid's not ever going to walk through the doors of your school.
You hope they do, and we do a great deal of work to do outreach to try. We have a couple different options at United, for instance, where we attempt the outreach when they enroll because they do have to make us aware that they're in our geographic area. Mm-hmm. We have our own virtual program that we provide for those that prefer that. That is through a different provider and has some lower cost structure. It saves our taxpayers and our district a great deal of money. And we outreach through them a great deal, and they're pretty persistent and good. And we've actually seen over the last 2 years over 50% of our students who are on outside charters come back to participate, because then they're going to get a United diploma. They're going to participate at the ICTC with our other students. Yeah. The difference is just being that large sum is not going elsewhere. And then thirdly, trying to get them into our building. Yeah. Trying to get them with us. We think we do an amazing job, and our teachers are fantastic teachers, and there's a lot of opportunity with peers that can be missed. Their life lessons.
Yeah, the socialization aspect of that's a lesson we should have all learned with the COVID pandemic when everybody had to be home. So it makes it really important now. Matt Curci, let's talk with you about Arin Intermediate Unit, because you deal with many of the same issues, but many other issues as well for Arin. You have to have cooperative arrangements with all of the school districts.
Absolutely, and just being new to the IU, but having been a superintendent in the IU previously, it helps understand some of the issues, and we certainly have a great team at the IU. One of the challenges that we've had recently. And thankfully, the federal funding, some of the dollars that were previously being withheld that have been earmarked were released last Friday. But you were looking at adult education programs, 21st century programs, where a number of our kids who had need, who were getting summer opportunities, after school opportunities, and all these efforts that are going into allowing them to become invested in their schools, or the adults who are working towards getting that education so they can meet career goals and so forth. So those were big challenges. Working with our district, though, one of the things, obviously the IU provides a lot of special education resources. And one of the things that we've seen in our area is the number of students with special needs or requiring special programs or additional supports. And that's another difficult area of finance for folks because there's obviously funding, the costs that go along with that, the challenges. These are mandated costs as part of IEPs and things that we both morally and ethically plus legally need to do. And the funding is not there. So IDEA funding, which is a federal funding program for special needs, the legislation marks for 40% of special education costs to be covered. Traditionally, it's been 10 to 15%. It's never broken 20%. So even though that's legislated, those funding dollars don't come through, which pushes it down to our local taxpayers.
Yeah.
We have to go back to meet those costs. So it's certainly a challenge. And like you said, it's a big puzzle, but it's something that we're working hard together to overcome.
Unfunded mandates, Rob Heinrich, Rich mentioned it a couple of moments ago. You have an idea that there are certain things that you're going to have to do, and with the uncertainty of how much funding you're going to have to do it, there's a lot of shifting that has to go on within a budget frame, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. And we just recently looked at our unfunded mandates, and thankfully, the legislators are paying attention to our complaint about this, and they sent us the list of mandates that we have to require. It's 86 pages long. So when you think about that, it's not just one here or there, but the volume of the mandates that we have to pay for at the local level is tremendous. And I know your listeners probably hate when I come on because they hear me harp about cyber charter schools, but the largest one of these mandates, the one mandate that would make the most significant impact to local funding, is cyber charter mandate, where we have to pay these schools that exist in Philadelphia and Harrisburg who are building cathedrals in those cities on Indiana taxpayers' dime, and that's just not right. It's broken. It's a broken model. I mean, we talked about property taxes earlier and how property taxes are inherently not equal, not fair, because one school district might have a better property tax base than another, so they can provide more opportunities for their kids. Well, the same is true when it translates to cyber charter. Those schools with the bigger property taxes are paying a greater deal of money to those cyber charter schools. $2 million of our tax money in Indiana area school district is going to go to those schools next year. They should be paying for us, increasing our property values invested in our community, and it's not. So it's just it's a complex problem, like I said, but cyber charters is a way that we could fix it and not add a single dime to the budget. The money's already there. It's already being spent. It's just going to the wrong places.
Dr. Lucas, let's talk a little bit about the whole budget process, when it begins at the United School District, the relationship that you have to have with a really solid business manager, somebody who knows the numbers and knows how to formulate a budget. It's not it's due by this date. Let's get to work on it a month before. It's a 12-month year, isn't it?
It is. At this point, once you get through June, you're starting into our new budget year. Really, we're trying to project and monitor at the same time till about October. Because that's really roughly about the time where you're starting to become more consistent with your budgetary expenses that you had allocated for. But we restart the process at a board level, meeting once a month in January. With some conversations starting as early as December. And we meet once a month or more as needed as we work through different elements of the program, of our budget program. But I'm very blessed at United, and we have an excellent director of finance, and Tom Kliniak, who's a great deal of experience, and his preparations help significantly. But him and I meet about once every week or two, especially once we get into the latter portion of the development of the budget to get that that safe estimate that's going to protect you against the late state budget or potential federal funding that may not come, and also still at the same time not increase a burden that doesn't need to be increased. We've been very blessed. We haven't raised taxes in the United School District in quite a few years, and that's been through good planning and really being out in front of it. And again, it's one of those things where generally, like large movements, we plan 2 years in advance so that we can be prepared. Like we're making a technology change in our elementary, And to do so, we planned that 2 years ago for now.
You, of course, in United, Rob, you in Indiana area, you're not the Homer Center district, which will be impacted very greatly by the Homer City redevelopment project, but you're going to have an effect from that project. How certain or uncertain are you of how beneficial that will be for United, for Indiana? And then, Matt, when we get to talking about Arin as well.
I think we're hopeful. We're definitely uncertain, but we're looking at 10,000 new jobs is what the experts are telling us. 10,000 new jobs means that there's 10,000 people coming to this area to live and to shop in our stores and eat in our restaurants. So we're hoping to see some boost to our tax effort locally, but we're also with that can come students and families with kids that have to enroll in our schools. So we're hopeful, but we're also uncertain. Are we going to, reap the benefits of the financial boom that's coming, or are we going to see a burden with an influx of students that we're not quite ready for? So we are optimistic and like I said, hopeful when we look at this, but we're already making plans for what if this happens or what if that happens. So we have to, because we got to be ready for anything. We have to be nimble.
We don't anticipate that, like some school districts do. We're just going to knock down the building we're in right now and put up a new one, huh?
Especially not what it costs to put a new one up. People have no idea what the exorbitant cost for construction now. But I believe the same thing. We're anticipating and hoping for the largest impact we could in our community. But I think one of the unique things about Indiana County as a whole is that those individuals who either already live here and are going to work at that Homer Center plant or would possibly move in, have a vast array of different communities and types of living arrangements, whether it be rural, a little more suburban down in here in Indiana, to, if you really wanted a living really rural, there's other districts that are a little further away. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to find what fits them when they come in, which is going to, it's a dropping a pebble in a lake. It's going to ripple effect out. It's going to help everybody. I think even whether it's a huge impact or a small impact, either way, it's a benefit. Bringing more people into the area is always going to benefit the communities economically. And then secondarily, more families to bring, good quality to the education too. That's a goal.
And to Rick's point earlier, we've had the superintendents and the educational leaders in the area have met with the Homer Center LLC to talk about the kind of jobs they see being present long term, so that we can change our curriculum, so we can make sure that we're producing students who are eighth graders right now, but they can walk out of our doors when that plant is up and running and walk right into a good paying job and buy a house and a car and set up and start contributing to the economy here. So we're already planning 4 or 5 years into the future for that effect.
Dr. Curci, of course, that being the case and the adult education options that are available at Arin, you have a great role to play in this as well, you hope.
Absolutely. We're really excited about the IU, obviously, like you said, with the adult ed and these folks who are looking at skills that are transferable into the job market we have in the region, this new job market that we're going to be having. From our standpoint, we've been taking a lot of steps working for workforce development. We've actually been working operating a Armstrong Indiana Career Pathways Partnership that's been operating the past few years, working with our school districts, working with employers within the region. We've had a big focus on healthcare already, and now on August 7th, we're actually having our first meeting for the year that's going to be at IUP, and we're meeting with educators, both K-12, post-secondary, and a number of employers that we're looking forward to. As was mentioned, we have these new jobs coming in, and our school districts produce great, outstanding young men and women. We know we have a ton of talent here. We know we have folks, whether it be in the trades, whether it be in management, whether it's data, and I'll be honest, I know a lot of us, I will say for myself, learning exactly what a data warehouse does and all the roles that are played. But to Rob's point, we want to adapt. We want to look at our curriculum. We want to start with kids young. Tell us what you need. We want to build those relationships so we understand what kind of need do you have, allow our kids to know what opportunities are there, and give them opportunities to work to it, because we believe we can support these industries with the folks in our region, because we just have a tremendous base here. A lot of cases it's maybe a well-kept secret, but I think that secret's getting out. Indiana and Armstrong County have outstanding people and outstanding resources.
We certainly have wonderful educational resources here in Indiana County, and a lot of different players who are going to be making a statement here with the coming of Homer City redevelopment. There are going to be people coming into the area. As you said, Rob, that means that you're going to have a little bit more of a burden placed upon our school districts here in Indiana County. You're pretty confident we'll be able to step up, but the finances have to be a part of that. And maybe you're going to have to spend some money that you don't have just yet in order to position yourselves where you want to be.
100%. I mean, it's a delicate balance that we have to always be cognizant of and make sure that we're planning for the future, and while we're keeping the boat afloat in the present. So it's a tough job, and I have to hand it to all these school board members out there. The public has to understand, again, these are unpaid volunteers. No one of these directors gets a dime, and they give up their evenings and do this work because they believe in it. And it's a good thing for them too, because these are community schools, and as our community changes, we have to change as well. And so if it means spend a little money up front to be ready for the changes coming, then that's what the directors will start to do, because that's what the community demands.
Yeah. Dr. Lucas, of course, in order for all of this to come together the way that we want to see it come together, there's going to have to be some movement in Harrisburg to really get this thing on solid footing. I don't think we've been in solid footing in education funding in Pennsylvania for generations, but we can't look at it as just a challenge. We got to look at it as an opportunity too.
Yeah, I think we do. We look at it as an opportunity, and it's an opportunity to invest in not in the immediacy as much as the future, and it's really a forward look rather than a current depiction of, well, if we put all this money into education right now, it's this year's budget, and then we're looking at next year's budget in Harrisburg. When in reality, it's got to be a longer term commitment to the student that sees the first increase in dollars from the state or from the relief on charter side is going to the first kid who's going to see the greatest impact is the kid who walks in kindergarten that year. That's a 13-year commitment.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it has to be looked at a little more. While these necessary steps get us there, these, like we're talking about cyber charter reform, we talk about equity and funding and all these other items that have gone through in the past 5 to 10 years. The difficult part is if those things turn our way, getting the long-term view, because we all know politics shift quicker than the wind blows sometimes, and that is what it is. It's politics, but in the long run, those same politicians are looking out for their constituents. But it's just like Rob talked about, our board members are committing their time. I think our legislators and senators and congressmen and people that represent us are chosen by the public for that same reason, and they do have the same vested interest. The hope is that they have that long-term perspective on education that we have, because it also affects the economy and everything else.
Well, our conversations having to do with school district financing have been enlightening here this morning. Rob Heinrich, thank you so much. Dr. Matt Curci from Arin Intermediate Unit, Dr. Richard Lucas, the United School District. I think if we do fall short, we can't rely on Rob to pick up the guitar and stand out on the street corner and have people come by, unless you guys play an instrument too.
I play the camera while Rob plays.
Whatever it takes, Joe.
Whatever it takes, we're there.
We appreciate your time so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. We are headed toward the top of the hour. Fox News comes your way then, and then a brief look at news with Josh Widdowson, and then the Brian Kilmeade Show. Pirates baseball is happening this afternoon, or actually this evening, I should say. 9:20 is your airtime, 9:45 first pitch from San Francisco.